Back like we never left, of course. Yeah, I think I'm gonna get used to doing this, and it's something not so easy. Cracking a certain cycle, which you're used to be doing a certain thing, but then now you have to break into that cycle, crack it open, try to fit in something different. It's not so easy, and I've delayed releasing this episode, considering it is the second part of the continuing series, Building Capacity. And fun fact is, we always find ourselves in places where people are really looking for job qualifications, are looking for the experiences you have in a particular field. They look for the skill set, and we find ourselves not having much accomplished. Most specifically, we find ourselves not yet fully mature to the task. And it is an underlying reality, because right now the problem we're facing is the unemployment problem. The huge percentage of the youth population are not fully employed. Some of them are in the hustle space, some of them are trying to make ends meet. And that is just the sad reality we're facing. That is the accurately incorrect reality we're facing. That is the incorrect reality we're facing. It is supposed to be that a country's economy should also be robust enough to actually favor its citizens, to favor their youth, to favor their generation, the younger generation. And that is the sad reality. But that set aside, I felt there was need of saying it, because as much as we are trying to find loops on how we are going to succeed, there is a way of succeeding, yes, but as much as we are doing that, we're finding loops on succeeding, then there are things we ought not to brush off. We just have to acknowledge the fact that this is the problem we're facing, and take a deep breath, trying to readjust or trying to negotiate another corner into a different location. More specifically, maybe because this specific direction we're taking is not working for us. So it's time for us to negotiate a different corner and try to find what is on the other side of this direction that we're trying to take. That set aside, it's something excellent. It's something you would want to live having. It's something you'd want to experience for the rest of your life. The capacity of you now working in a specific job sector, in a specific skill required sector, but you're working there not just as an intern, you're working there not just as a young person, or you're not just working there as a less skilled person, but you're working there as the most skilled person. The other time I said that talent will help you to some degree, but then it just gives you a certain percentage of added advantage to what you're already doing. You find someone who's talented in dancing. Yes, this guy is talented by nature, by birth, by everything. He knows how to dance. But there are spaces he cannot walk to. There are spaces he cannot dance to or perform to, just because there's some certain aspect he or she didn't involve her or himself in doing. Case scenario, you find there are people who are dancing, but there is difference between dancing and being a professional dancer. I'm not saying that all dancers should go and get something to make their dance professional. No. What I'm trying to say is there is that aspect of perfection that is always acquired in professionalism. It is always acquired in you getting some formal something to back it up. As much as you have that talent, as much as you have that gifting, there is that formal part that you'll always get in a certain place, in a certain space, away from your own comfort zone, away from you taking it as if I am more talented, I am the most talented in the room, and actually this is my space, so I need to rule it. And I walked in a certain room, not just a room, let me say, I went to a certain place, and it was an interview thing. But just before I entered that room, there was like a quote somewhere on top, and the banner read, "If you think you are the smartest in the room, then you are in the wrong room." How ironic it is, because these are places that you need to be smart to walk in those rooms, and you need to just convince them. That is the irony of it. If you think you're the smartest in the room, then you're in the wrong room. It's not about you being that smart. It's about the value you're offering. And this is something that comes in with capacity. Once you've built your capacity to a level where your presence alone actually gives the vibe of, yes, this is the guy for the job. I've seen what he's doing. I've seen what he or she is involving herself with. And I think we can try not a long shot for this one, but we are going to get it. We are going to get the rewards. And that is what people are really looking up for in our current case scenario. People who are most skilled, they end up having more contracts. They end up having more networks. And that is just their advantage. They've become so skilled that they don't have to market themselves. I will talk of a certain person. I won't mention his name for security purposes, but I've worked for him. I've worked with him and for him. Now, I am not skilled in that sector, but he is skilled. Let me tell you, the only thing he does when it comes to marketing, he only does it on WhatsApp. And let me tell you, since he started the job, since he's running his own company, since he's doing that, not any single day have I ever seen paid ads on Instagram that is supporting what he's doing. I'm not saying he should not start or he should start, no. This is what I have seen in him doing. The company he's running deals with a lot of interior design and every other thing. But there are times come where he's just given a call and is like, yo, where are you at? We need to talk. You need to give me the quotation of this area. You need to give me the details of this, and how much are you charging for it? And because this guy is highly valuable, people end up preferring him. He does his job in perfection. And actually, I think your job or your work should be your worship. It should be something that precedes before you. Because that experience alone will grant you access in big and different rooms you're never expecting. And immediately after this, I'll be doing a second series, but a different one with a different one, called Being Delusional. And the fun part of this guy running the company with zero marketing ads on Instagram or on any online space, just WhatsApp alone, he has gathered much credibility from the people he's working with. And I think that was a privilege, quite a big privilege working with him. The privilege that comes alone with working with the most skilled person, and you're not even skilled in that specific sector, that privilege alone should make you more humble. And I was so humble to a point I wanted to just grasp a single skill that I may gear up with that certain skill, and whenever he goes somewhere and he needs something, he'll just end up calling me, yo, there is a certain job here, I think you can do it, can you? And that is what I'm really looking into doing. And why he's being called, why he's being referred, it's because he's doing an excellent job. He has made his work his worship. Anything he's doing in perfection. He's doing it to a level where I'll be done. By the time namaliza na hii job, mtaniita baadaye. And that is what he's doing. Because that capacity he built on over for years. If you ask him, and I've not had time to ask him where he started at, but this is usually the story of every individual who's great, every individual who's having or running something successful, that they started at a point, a lower point, but with time they grew. The good thing, the advantaging thing about life, it provides space for growth, and that is just what we need. In proportion to time, how time runs, how time flies, there is that space for growth. And you start in a small level, you start with a small skill set, you upgrade your skill set by acquiring either formal learning, insights, foresight, and hindsight, trying to look trying to look what has been done in the past, what is done currently, what is going to be done in the future. And that is just what is required. You trying to learn and master all the patterns, all the cycle of how things are going to be run. That is going to give you the enough, let me say the enough mental capital for you to upscale what you're doing. I mean, it's all about business. Everything is all about business. So you just need to have that business mentality. You're not starting this business to remain where it is. You're starting it actually to upscale it and grow it to a level where it's going to become a legacy. The same principle applies to skills. The same principles apply to capacity. And one thing I love about we as Kenyans, we always have that thing of appreciating people coming all the way from the grassroots into places of where they're being seen, where they're being used as point of references. And one person I actually like using is Benihinwa Lubengo. The way he started and to a point where he is right now, you can actually see that he's been building capacity all this while. He started well, but right now he's going on better and greater and bigger actually, because he's now running a company, a publishing firm, whatnot. He's doing literally everything. Talk of branding, talk of writing, talk of public speaking. He's now doing it in a different level. He's no longer calling himself a public speaker alone. Actually, he's elevated his name to a level where he's calling himself an orator. And that is just capacity. He's been building capacity all this while. And I remember this series, he was talking about how you can actually become a better version of yourself. And he was speaking points of wisdom just directly from his own experiences. He built capacity from just being a repeater in high school to right now greeting presidents, working in big rooms, big places, big offices, and actually working out of the country. And just a shout out, man. He's doing a great job just because he mastered that capacity must be built. Every spaces that needs disruption, there is that aspect of capacity. Do you have the capacity enough? And I remember one of the videos I used to be taking it personal was one which he usually said that Bruce Lee himself said he fears a person who has mastered one kick 10,000 times. He doesn't fear one person who practiced 10,000 kicks one single time. He doesn't fear that person, but Bruce Lee fears that person who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. And that is just after you've mastered it, you're now becoming a master of your art. Capacity itself is you now becoming a master of that specific art you're doing. And I know, literally, it takes time. it consumes a lot, it requires more from you. It actually demands more than you can give. It demands more than you can think, actually. And this is just a place where if you've attained this position, if you've attained this certain spot, then we'll just be walking in presence of greatness and royalty, because you become a master of your art, leave alone just being a master. You are the ruler of that art, because everything in and out of the boxes, you know everything, literally. And that is just one thing that I came to learn. For you to actually become better, there is no perfect version of human beings. There is no perfect version, but we try every other day to become better than what we were yesterday. For you to become that version, you need to master a certain skill. You need to bank on skills. You need to bank on skills a lot, because the skills will allow you walk in certain spaces you're never even thinking of it. Oh my. So this is just the final series of building capacity, and I hope this just does not speak to you alone. It actually opens the eye. It actually makes you as an embodiment of solution, the way I usually say to myself that I need to become an embodiment of solution. Greatness must be ours to manifest, and the older generation need to watch this space. The young generation has a lot of potential. They have a lot of vitality. The youth strength, we have it so much. The much potential we carry is actually enough to fuel our current generation to the next generation. And that is just the reality we are having at bay right now. So this is a man's world. Yeah, this is a man's world, and we need to rewire, reconnect, and relearn everything we've been told. The wrong things we've been growing up listening to, the wrong things we've been growing up believing in. We need to actually reshape our beliefs when it comes to what is required of me in a specific job sector or in a specific space. We need to re-understand it. We need to unlearn before we relearn. So this is just the spot for you, accurately incorrect. And I think this is the only space for you, man. So kudos. You can just support by hitting that like button, the share button, and add it to your library. Yeah. And Jim Rohn said the best version does not exist yet, meaning it is in the making. So you need to be doing it frequently. And I just leave you with this quote. It says, "A man trapped in woman's body." What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean?
Boogie on the beat.